Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I'm doing pretty good myself, thank you. It's the old ham and egger here, old geezer Bob. And today starts college football. A couple good games today, a few good games tomorrow. Of course, the big game is Alabama going up to Nashville to face the Vanderbilt Commodores. Yeah, Vanderbilt Commodores. Okay, and as usual, what the Post has every week, they put up their list of college experts. They pick the games and who's going to win, and I play right along with them. I'm doing pretty good so far. Still early, a lot of things can change. One bad week and forget about it, right? Okay, I'm 42-33. That puts me in first, but things can change. Winning percentage of 560, which is good enough. It would make me money if I bet on every game. Put the same amount on every game, and more or less it would be a profit. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, first game, a couple games tonight. We got UNLV, University of Nevada at Las Vegas. They're 6.5 points favorite over Syracuse. Now, if you remember, UNLV, that's a team where their starting quarterback left after 4 games when they were undefeated. After 5 games, they're still undefeated. In fact, from what I read, a lot of the teammates were happy the guy was gone. And I tell you, they killed Fresno State last week. They killed them. They destroyed them. They've already beaten Kansas. The replacement quarterback, who is a senior, he passed for a little bit more than half the yards that the other guy, Matthew Sluka, passed in 4 games. Anyway, he's had his 10 minutes of fame, and not going to badmouth him or anything. Maybe he'll find a good team next year. But I don't think UNLV misses him at all. And, you had undefeated team. They were in good shape to get the Power 5 or the Group of 5 spot. His choice. And they face the Syracuse Orangemen. Syracuse is almost on that cusp of teams I try to stay away from, i.e. Michigan State, i.e. Houston, Louisville, Purdue. Because sometimes they just never fail to disappoint. Okay, so I've got UNLV 6.5 over Syracuse. In fact, looking over this, I happened to pick, most of the teams I picked were favorites. I wanted to pick some underdogs, but I did some research and I just couldn't see it. I'm not into DEI. I don't pick 8 favorites and 7 underdogs, or 9 favorites and 6 underdogs. No, I'm sorry. I don't do that. Other game tonight, Oregon at home, 23.5 against the Michigan State. Michigan State is one of the teams I try to stay away from. Now, next week, Oregon hosts Ohio State. That should be a good game. Right now, the way things are, I think Ohio State will probably be about 2-3 point favorites. Anyway, if I was to lose on a team, I would rather lose picking Oregon than lose picking Michigan State. Because if I pick Michigan State, and if they lost, it would be one of those, "Oh, Bob, what did you do? You never, ever learn." Oh, and I don't want to go through that again. I don't need it. Game number 3. This is for tomorrow at noon, well, at 11 o'clock Central. Penn State at home against UCLA. Compared to Well, they compared to Iowa. I'm sorry, compared to UCLA, Iowa's got an offensive juggernaut. Most points they've scored all year was 17 in a game, and they managed to score 16 against Hawaii. The Hawaii Rainbows. How about that? Last week they were 28.5 point favorites. They covered that with 29. I think they're going to cover that again. I'm taking Penn State at Happy Valley, 27.5 over UCLA. We go to College Station, where Texas A&M is home to Missouri. I was one of those people. I was on the Missouri bandwagon. Not to the point where I thought they were going to be the conference champion or be a serious contender for the national champion, but I thought they had a good chance of making the final 12, and they still might. But A&M has been doing real well. They've been on the rise, and I think they're going to keep it up, and I'm going to take Texas A&M, giving 2.5 to the Tigers. At Athens, Georgia, the Bulldogs, the Fighting Kirby's, are home to the Auburn Tigers. Where's my Schadenfreude sign? Anyway, it's too early for Schadenfreude yet. And I think Auburn's in for a heap of trouble. They're going to face an angry Georgia team that's been criticized for not putting up points in the first half. They're going to be criticized for getting whopped by Alabama. Forget about the final score. One thing, though, is that Auburn has a good defense. They do. They always play well. They always give 100%. However, though, they have no offense. And Georgia's defense that found a way to stop Jalen Milroe and Alabama in the second half, with the exception being 17-year-old freshman Ryan Williams, they're going to feast on Auburn's offense. I think, no kidding, I'm not kidding you when I say this, I think Georgia's defense will be responsible for about 21 points on its own. Either with a pick six, a fumble recovery, field possession. Georgia's got a real good punter. So if Auburn happens to go 3 and out in their own territory, put there by Georgia's kicking, it's going to be tough for them. So I'm taking Georgia, giving Auburn 24. Now, here's a surprise. Ohio State is giving Iowa 20 points. And I'm taking Iowa. It's a risk. Yes, it is. But Iowa hasn't been all that bad. They don't have much of an offense. But they got a good defense, though. If they can find a way to stop Ohio State's wide receivers, that could be tough. But I'm still taking Iowa, getting 20. Ole Miss giving South Carolina 9.5 at South Carolina. I'm taking South Carolina. Nebraska giving Rutgers 7 points. You know I've been a fan of Nebraska, well, especially Matt Rule, their head coach. I think he's a good coach. I know he's a good coach. However, the Rutgers surprised me last week against Washington. Yes, Washington kind of shot themselves in the foot, but still, Rutgers has got a real good running back. The guy's a beast. And they got a better-than-average quarterback. And they got a better-than-average coach in Ray Schiano. And 7 points sounds pretty good to me. I'm taking Rutgers. My Alabama Crimson Tide goes up to Nashville to face the Vanderbilt Commodores. And they're giving Vandy 22.5 points. I'm taking Alabama. What can I say? 22.5 points. This is not the Vanderbilt team of years past when Alabama can go in there, walk on the field, and they've already and they've got the Vanderbilt beat. No, it's not that way anymore. They will be competitive. They will put up a fight. But Alabama just has too much for them. Will there be a letdown from last week? Yes. What Alabama wants to do is they want to set up their run game, and we'll see how that works. And let's see if the offensive coordinator can do more than just have Jalen Milroe take over the offense. I'm not impressed by Sheridan at all. Not yet. Not yet. Kirby and Georgia's defense and A.J. Durkin, the defensive coordinator for Georgia, ate his lunch in the second half, and Sheridan could not adjust. So I'm not on the Sheridan hyperbus yet. Clemson, 14.5 over Florida State. I like Clemson, and I like them a lot. I did a podcast before about the contrast in teams, how they built their teams. Florida State has a lot of transfers. I think they have 8 out of 11 on offense, while Clemson has 0 transfers. 0, none. They have no transfers on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball. Dabo Swinney takes his player, he recruits them, and he works with them, he builds them up, and I think he's a man of principle. And he's not going to let these guys whom he recruited be usurped by some graduate transfer or some transfer. Hasn't happened yet. It might happen next year, who knows? But right now, I'm taking Clemson. I've always been sold on Dabo. I think he's a heck of a coach, heck of a guy. Still not sold on Clemson's quarterback, Kubiak. I've mentioned he doesn't do well against good teams so far, but he's fortunate in that Florida State is not a good team. So I'm picking Clemson, and I'm giving the Seminoles. Excuse me. Boy, how that guy's ruined that program. Hasn't he, though, Mike Norvell? Gee whiz. You know, how he soaked the administration. Got a coaching deal worth $84 million. He's got a buyout of $63 million. But you know what? He didn't sign that contract by himself. No, it had to be signed by the administration or whoever it was. Anyway, Tennessee at Arkansas. Tennessee is 13.5. I am on the Tennessee bus until they prove otherwise. Their closest game was against Oklahoma, 25-15, but it wasn't that close. No, it wasn't that close. Should be an interesting game for a while, I think, but things can happen. I'm still taking Tennessee, giving 13.5. It's a lot of points, as I mentioned before. I wish I could have picked an underdog in some of these games. Here's one. Washington. At Washington, 2.5 over Michigan. I don't understand that. I looked around. Is Michigan missing anybody? Are some offensive linemen hurt? What about defensive linemen? Anything, right? But no, I couldn't find anything. But the guys in Vegas who make this, they're no dummies. Trust me, they're no dummies. But still, I did my research. I looked at the teams. I'm not Michigan. I'm not on the Michigan bandwagon. But I'm getting 2.5 points. So I'm taking Michigan, and I might take them, and I might put a couple bucks on them, adding another point or so, make it 3 points. USC, 8.5 at Minnesota Golden Gophers. Now, last week I put out a search, a BOLO, as they say, on TV, a bolo for a golden gopher. Not just a gopher. No, no, not those little animals that are in the Minnesota woods. I mean a gopher that is golden. And so far, nobody's found one. A lot of people get on Minnesota for some reason. I think it's because their coach was a charismatic figure at his previous school, some small school. And USC, 8.5, that's a lot of points, especially for USC. But I looked at Minnesota again and again. I saw how they played, and what can I say? Iowa State, 12 at home against Baylor. I'm not picking Baylor until they do something. Iowa State is undefeated. There might be that is a lot of points. But I'm going to do it again. I'm going to pick Iowa State. Like I said, it could be a rough weekend. But we'll see what happens, right? And my final pick, Miami goes to California. They go to Berkeley. And they face the California Comrades. And California are getting 10.5 points. And this might shock a few people, but I'm picking California to cover 10.5 points. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they're going to cover. And if the Comrades do happen to win, that campus will just erupt in festivities unseen since their celebration of Che Guevara's birthday. Oh, they're going to go nuts over there. You know, they're going to bring out hippies from way back when, right? They're going to go to the administration, bring out the hippies there. Anyway, it's at 9:30, and we'll see what happens. I'm saying we'll see what happens a lot, aren't I? Yeah, that's how it is. Okay, my best bets so far are Alabama and Clemson. I'm not sure about who the third one might be yet. That's how tough it is. Not sure yet. It might be A&M. Anyway, when I do make my pick and the results come in, you will know. Okay, that's about it. We'll see what happens in a couple hours or so. It's UNLV on Fox against Syracuse. And on FS1, I don't know what FS1 is. I can get it though, but I'm not sure what it is. That's Oregon against Michigan State. And I'll be watching UNLV. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. I know I did. I enjoyed this. Keeps me going. Give me something to do, right? I got a lot of things to do, but I enjoy doing this, though. Oh, yeah, baseball playoffs, right. Oh, yeah. Oh, Yankee Boy is going to be happy. Yankee Boy makes his appearance tomorrow. So we're going to talk a little bit about the playoffs. And it's coming to one of the main factors in the playoffs will be which manager can do the least damage to his team. Yesterday's game, exciting game, 4-2 Mets. Alonso got a 3-run homer. They added up another run. A 4-2 game, right? Combined, they used 11 pitchers. People wonder why baseball is losing attraction, right? 11 pitchers. Oh, that's for another day, though. Oh, we're going to start tomorrow. Will be another day. Okay, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. Stay healthy, be safe, and keep vertical. And until then, I'll talk to you later. Let me just... There you go.